Hello dear friends, I'm Marina with your weekly horoscope for the week of the 8th of July through the 14th. First of all, we need to remember that we are in between the two eclipses. The solar eclipse, which already happened on the 2nd of July, and the upcoming lunar eclipse, which will be on the 16th of July. So those periods in between and around eclipses are much more intense, with possibly more karmic events that may happen. And generally, this is a time when we may have access to different energy, some different insights might come up, or karmic events or karmic relationships. So this is definitely gonna be an important week. The other interesting fact is that Mercury is already retrograde. On Sunday, the 7th of July, Mercury turned retrograde. So basically this is the first week of Mercury retrograde, which means that situations from the past might come back into your life. Generally, you need to be more cautious when it comes to communication, all kinds of plans, scheduling or traveling, or of course starting new things, which should be avoided, especially if this is something significant and important. For more information about Mercury retrograde, you may watch the forecast for last week. I explore this transit in details about each of the signs. I will put also the link below this video. By the way, also, if you would like to join our Eclipses Transformational program, you still have the chance to do that. The link is below this video as well. Some other important events during the week. Actually, we have a lot of major aspects. The Sun in opposition with Saturn, the Sun in opposition with Pluto, some major but also challenging transits, which we are gonna talk about. We also have another challenging and stressful aspect, the square between Mars and Uranus. But we also have some positive ones, like the trine between the Sun and Neptune and the sextile between Venus and Uranus. So complicated week, definitely, with some possible tension, unexpected surprises. So be extra careful, be more patient. Keep in mind that some of the things that are happening right now might be related to the past, and that's okay. Now, let's go through each of the days one by one so that we are going to explore basically what each of those aspects can bring into your life. Monday, the 8th of July. First of all, we have a very interesting conjunction between Mercury retrograde and Mars. It happens around the 5th degree in Leo. So first of all, Mercury and Mars together, that's a lot of, impulsive combination, especially in the fire sign of Leo. So from one side, you might be more direct when it comes to communicating with other people. At the same time, Mercury retrograde can make you more focused on your own thoughts, going back through some past experiences or reassessing something in your life. But the major thing is that Mars brings lots of energy to Mercury. So the mind can be extremely active and faster than usual and more focused on your own desires. Leo is the sign of the ego, what our heart wants. So this conjunction really means that you need to focus on your own desires and to take action also in regards to your own ideas or plans. In terms of communication, this aspect may bring possible tension. People may not be willing to make compromises, for example, or there might be more impatience, sometimes even possible confrontations, arguing, even verbal aggression. So be extra careful with those contacts with other people. Don't rush things too much, try to reassess things at least twice before you say something or before you plan or do something. But in one way or another, this aspect really activates the mind. So if we are really focused on something constructive, of course, those ideas can be great. For example, you may restart something or take action in regards to previous idea, previous plan, something related to the past. So lots of fire energy and mostly focused, also on communication, the mind, the intellect, and everything in regards to Mercury. The other aspect on Monday, the positive aspect between Venus and Uranus. Great combination which can bring excitement and interesting emotional experiences, especially when it comes to relationships, personal communication with other people, or even partnerships. There might be some surprises, something new that we may experience. There might be also more freedom, more original approach when it comes to relationships, personal issues, and generally, for having fun, for doing something exciting overall, this aspect is actually very positive. The last aspect on Monday is the quincunx between the Sun and Jupiter. This aspect can make you more focused on some of your goals, motivated to achieve success, abundance, to explore something, but keep in mind that you need to put some efforts here. And at least in the beginning, it's not so easy. First, we have to do the work. We need to make some changes potentially or put certain efforts. And after that, we can experience the benefits of this aspect. So one of those, interesting but also complicated aspects which can affect you on different levels. And the quincunx is also an aspect which can bring long-lasting situations. It's 150 degree. The longer the aspect, or the more degrees the aspect is, the longer situations it brings. So this can really be something which will be important for us for some time ahead, especially when it comes to our goals, our plans, maybe potentially something in regards to your personal philosophy, and generally knowledge and information. The transit moon is in Libra on Monday, so more focus on our relationships, our communication with people. Personal relationships with Venus may really be harmonious and pleasant and positive, but remember to be cautious about how you express your ideas, how you treat other people, verbally, how you connect as well. The 9th of July, Tuesday, we have one of those really tough aspects, the opposition between the Sun and Saturn. Saturn is extremely powerful here because it's in Capricorn, the sign of its rulership. So Saturn may really bring some kind of restrictions, some kind of boundaries, some kind of delays. It's possible that we may feel kind of stuck, or like things are not moving forward, or that we are in the same circle going, like in a round chasing our tail or something like that. So it could be quite uncomfortable. Also, communication with authority figures or potentially some government issue may not be so smooth. And the opposition is an aspect which may bring another person, which means that, another person or maybe some kind of structure or organization might be actually the problem, or we might be suppressed by someone else, or somebody in our social circle might be, suppressing us in some way. So definitely tough aspect, but on the other side, this aspect may allow you to be even more concentrated. If you decide to be, stubborn, but in a healthy way, and consistent and focused, this aspect may reward you, but you need to do the work. So for some serious efforts, for something which requires lots of work, this aspect can be, quite intense. But overall, keep in mind that with the other things going on, Mercury retrograde, the period between the eclipses, things may not be so easy. So, just if something is too hard, if something isn't working for you, maybe that's also a message to stop and, just let things happen. For some people, I know that this could be a major issue, something that, they try to avoid. But sometimes what we need to do is just let the control. If something, isn't working and you are doing the best that you can and, you're working extremely hard and yet you have a wall in front of you, then it may also be a message from the universe that it's just not the right thing for you, or at least it's not the right moment. So let it go, just, release the control. Sometimes that's the best thing that we can do. And I feel like with this aspect and the overall combination, this might be actually a great decision. So whenever something isn't working and you are doing the work, you are working hard for that and it still doesn't work, it still doesn't, bring you the results, then just stop and let the control. The moon is in Libra on Tuesday, so relationships, communication, finding the balance, finding harmony in our lives. Also I think that this combination may bring the desire just to enjoy life, just to do something pleasant and maybe leave all the responsibilities or, the tasks and obligations behind us, at least for a while. And sometimes we just have to do that, We shouldn't push ourselves too hard all the time. Okay, so this is gonna be one of the most difficult days during this week, definitely. Next, we have Wednesday, the 10th of July, which is quite different. We have the Sun trining Neptune, a very, very romantic combination, great for creativity, for doing something which inspires you and other people, for also trusting more your intuition, for spiritual practices. This is a beautiful aspect, for something related to art, something which makes you feel better. Definitely explore your emotions, how you feel, how you can turn your emotions into something nice for others as well. Great combination for also supporting others, making a sacrifice for the people that you love, for the people that you value in your life. And you may really be inspired to do something in regards to any area of your life, basically. We also have the transit moon in Scorpio. Now that's more specific. From one side, Scorpio together with the strong Neptune energy may increase even more our intuition, is even more positive for spiritual practices, some mystical experiences or meditations. On the other hand, Scorpio can always bring some tension. We might be, kind of more focused on ourselves, more introverted. That's okay. And we may not be willing so much to connect to other people. Generally the atmosphere is more intense, and that's pretty normal for this position of the moon. So that's why with this combination, I really recommend you to do something nice for yourself, something like a meditation or a spiritual practice, something which will, help you to relax, but which will also, get you closer to your inner self, your deepest desires and emotions. Then we have the 11th of July, Thursday. we have a square between Mars and Uranus. This is one of those aspects which can bring unexpected situations, which can make us extremely impulsive and, you know, doing something unexpected, like out of the blue, which surprises other people and even ourselves. Now, the challenge here, or the negative side, is that this aspect brings higher possibility for some kind of trauma or potentially, you know, hurting yourself. By the way, also for all kind of technical stuff. This aspect combined with the Mercury retrograde may, you know, bring certain technologies crash or some, you know, unexpected things. So be extra careful while you are driving with your gadgets, computers, phones, you know. And of course, there are other things which are beyond our control, like, you know, the banking system, some softwares, or something like that. For example, last week we had Facebook crash, you know, the servers were down for a while. So obviously these are things beyond our control, but at least we can be, you know, kind of prepared for that. And just try, when it comes to, you know, your personal plans, just try avoiding those risky activities, for example, like extreme sports or even riding a bicycle. Sometimes this aspect may potentially bring more accidents. Of course, not for everyone. You need to check, first of all, whether one of those planets is making exact aspects with your natal planets, or also if you have any connection between Mars and Uranus in your natal chart. For example, I also have the square. I have square between Mars and Uranus, and I know that I have to be even more careful than any, you know, and any regular person who doesn't have the aspect. So those things are also important. But generally, you know, the atmosphere can be more tense, something unexpected, surprising. On the other hand, the positive side is that there may also be lots of excitement. You know, sometimes those are not accidents or, you know, something which is only stressful. Those can be exciting things that we are doing for the very first time, and you know that sometimes those things are combined. You know, you are stressed but at the same time excited, so this can happen as well. And try to be cautious, but at the same time don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to take different actions, or, you know, have a more original approach in regards to your plans and actions. The moon is in Scorpio also during these days. Scorpio adds more tension, more, you know, possible critical situations. Not for everyone, of course, but generally, you know, we need to be more cautious during when we have those combinations. And don't forget that Mars is one of the rulers of Scorpio. So the Mars energy is quite intense during this day. So we may really be more impatient, more impulsive, we may confront, we may do something, you know, which surprises everyone, something shocking. But, you know, sometimes those are the combinations which help us to get out of our comfort zone and do something that maybe we haven't had the courage to do before, even though we have wanted. So many possible scenarios here. The point is, you know, to be open and ready to work with this energy on a different level. So instead of, you know, arguing, fighting with other people, being harsh and rude and so on, try to do something different, something, you know, which is actually constructive. For example, do some exercises or change something in your daily routines or whatever, you know, is triggered in your chart. And it can be much more positive. Or maybe do some kind of spiritual practice, energy practice, which also includes, you know, working with the body, physical element. In this way, you are working with both of those energies, the Scorpio moon and the Mars-Uranus square. Then we have the 12th of July, Friday. Mercury retrograde has a square and a half with Neptune. So interesting aspect which can make us more introspective, which can kind of lead us to the past in some way, back to some dreams that we have had in the past or something which we have idealized. The square and a half aspect can bring some kind of disappointment, or potentially, we may face with some kind of illusions, or we may realize that some of the things that we have wanted won't work, or maybe we don't want them anymore, and that's okay. Keep more attention on your tasks, and especially when it comes to some details. There are high chances that you can forget something, that there might be a mistake, or something about your plans, about your schedules won't work, because Mercury is retrograde, one, and second, there is a challenging aspect with Neptune. So generally the mind might be very unfocused, very somewhere else, so to speak, more dreamy. And the positive side actually is that for creativity this can be great, but you really need to listen to your inner self, to your own wisdom, to your own intuition. A meditation would be great when you have this aspect. Just just go with the flow. Let your mind be guided. Don't try to control the mind or everything around you. Just try to flow with this energy. And as we said, for creativity, for maybe remembering some ideas from the past which are inspiring, which are very positive, this aspect can also bring that. But remember that you need to do some work here as well. The other news for Friday is that the moon is already in Sagittarius, which is great actually. The overall atmosphere is more positive, more optimistic. Things are generally, easier around us. We can be more focused on the future or something nice to learn, to explore, to communicate more, to be more active, more open, even more extroverted when the moon is in a fire sign. So it looks like an easier day, especially if you don't push yourself too much. If you can be, more focused on yourself, maybe not so focused on work or some obligations, then this aspect, those combinations actually can be great. Then the 13th of July, Saturday, maybe I would say the most positive day of the whole week. No stressful aspects, basically no major aspects except for the moon, which is in Sagittarius and makes conjunction with Jupiter. Beautiful combination, which can help you to be more positive, more open-minded, also engaged with something about your future, learning, exploring, and generally, you have this positive attitude, which is great for everything, for going outside, meeting people, doing something for yourself, something with others, whatever inspires you, whatever makes you feel more positive, more optimistic, do it on Saturday. And the last day, 14th of July, Sunday, we have another major challenging aspect, which includes the Sun. Opposition with Pluto. One of those intense aspects which potentially can bring situations beyond our control. We may feel like, there is something outside of us which doesn't allow us to do something, or somebody else who requires something or who is trying to literally control us. So we may feel more like, we are alone, like we are not accepted by others, or we are so much different than others. There might be some kind of manipulations or people using power or more drama. These are some typical things for the Pluto energy. But at the same time, this aspect can make you extremely focused on something, passionate about something, even obsessed about something that you want to manifest, that you want to achieve, that you want to have in your life. So this aspect can really bring lots of power, inner power, you know, that makes you really focused, really devoted on something, actually extremely devoted on something. So it's Sunday, but it may still be an intense day. Some people are still working on Sunday, or it might be in regards to your personal life as well. But try to transform things, you know, don't be afraid of the changes. And remember that even the critical situations may bring, you know, something positive after that. And the good news here is that the moon is in Sagittarius most of the day until 6 p.m. Eastern time, which can allow us, you know, to be more open-minded, to look more philosophically on what's happening around us, to accept things with more positive attitude, which is always very, very helpful. Now, after 6 p.m., the moon will enter Capricorn. So things might be a little bit more difficult after that. You know, the emotional atmosphere may become more intense. There might be more, you know, boundaries between people. And we may need to focus more on some work, some responsibilities. Maybe we need to, you know, schedule or plan the next week. For different people, I guess it would be in different ways. But generally, you know, the atmosphere shifts after 6 p.m. So these are the most important influences, aspects, energies during this week. Don't forget that you can sign up for the waitlist for MarStars Astrology Academy, which begins in September. If you want to learn astrology in depth, to have a whole system, you know, not just single things that you are learning here and there, but to have the whole picture, something which will help you to structure your knowledge and to learn how to synthesize all of this information, then you definitely want to check our schedule, our plan, our program. And if you're interested, don't forget to sign up for the waitlist. The links are below the video. So this week, as we see, we have lots of intense things, many major aspects, almost every day, except for Thursday and actually Friday and Saturday. Here we don't have major aspects, but the other 5 days are bringing lots of shifts, major aspects. Pluto, Uranus, and Saturn are active. So be careful, be wise, be patient, and try to use this period for inner transformation. This corridor between the eclipses can be very karmic, very, very transformational. And if you still want to join our Eclipses transformational program, check the link below this video. Also, let me know, how do you feel with all of those energies? And have you experienced some of the positives of those challenging aspects? It's really something I'm interested in. So please let me know how you feel with this, with these combinations. I'm Marina. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you really soon.